Ladies and gentlemen, how is everybody doing today? I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. This is the Logic Vault. We got something here on more of a cartel situation. It's from Fox News. We're going to see what's going on. So apparently, cartel hit plot on the Border Patrol chief. Let's take a look.
So it's official now. A federal grand jury has indicted that Mexican illegal immigrant who tried to put a hit out, allegedly, on my guest from yesterday. Authorities say this man orchestrated a murder-for-hire plot, and the target, Chief Border Patrol Agent Greg Bovino. That gang leader is accused of soliciting Bovino's killer using social media to put a bounty on his head.
Ooh.
The Homeland Security Department warned about the rise of bounties targeting federal agents. The cartel-backed bounties cost up to $50,000 for assassinating high-ranking officials. Here is Chief Bovino in focus yesterday.
Since those bounties were put out, we've had to take different measures to keep our agents safe, our ICE officers safe, and our allied law enforcement agents safe as they go into the field. And something else, Harris, that we're seeing is the lethality of the assaults against officers and agents. That lethality is increasing, and I think it's because of the bounties and that crazy rhetoric by the out-of-control governor and mayor.
Well, here is just some of that.
My question is how's the cartel going to back it up? How are they going to be able to actually deliver upon these bounties? See, you can't trust them. They've never been trustable. But, yeah, we'll
rhetoric
see.
From the governor he's talking about, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson.
The extreme right in this country refused to accept the results of the Civil War. They have repeatedly called for a rematch.
The federal government doesn't get to hold a state hostage to change our state laws.
This is not about public safety. This is not even about immigration. This is a continuation of the Trump administration's war on the poor.
I studied the Holocaust. I helped to build a Holocaust museum.
I don't
this
see
is
an
what
issue
happened
here.
In the early days of the
war on the poor? What are you talking about, dude? There's no war on the poor. This dude's out of his mind. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I gotta fix something. Oh, there we go. That's a little better. He's out of his mind. War on the poor? Since when? Jesus, I can't handle stupid people. There's a level of intolerance I have towards some of this stuff, some of which goes up pretty fucking high.
Nazi regime in Germany. I'm not suggesting we're going the same direction necessarily, but boy, it's frightening.
No, we are not going the same way. That's the problem that everybody has, is that people are leaning more towards the right or around the right. And I'm not talking about the far right individuals. No, those of us that are just, a little bit more leaning towards that direction. It's not going towards that. It's not what we want. It's not what any of us want. It's not what anyone wants. And you're liars and you're scoundrels, and you can't just put words into our mouths and tell us we are something when we're not. That's just not how that works.
That is irresponsible.
Now, that goes both ways. That goes both ways. We can't tell it to them either. We can't just say that one person's such and such just because they follow everybody else, all right? Every individual is different.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem with this warning, quote, "Their campaign of terror against the brave men and women who protect our homeland will be crushed, and these cartel members will be brought to their knees."
I agree.
President Trump and I have the backs of every member of law enforcement across our nation. Again, Secretary Noem. And focus now, the president's border czar, Tom Homan. Look, when you hear about the bounties, that's a different level. That fits in with this assassination culture.
He
it would
looks
seem
like he
in
just
some
smelled
way.
some rotten eggs.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I've been doing this job since I started in 1984. I worked for 7 different administrations, Harris, 7.
This dude's been
and I've
doing
never
it
seen
since
anything even close to
84.
this, the hateful rhetoric that has caused over 1,000% increase in ICE officers. Chief Bovino, good friend of mine, he's doing a terrific job. He hasn't been home in months going from city to city and helping run these operations. But the hateful rhetoric has to stop. I said back in March, if the hateful rhetoric continues, there will be bloodshed. People are going to die. And they have, unfortunately. One person died trying to attack the Border Patrol facility in Texas, and those officers killed him. Then we got another group showed up at ICE detention facility, shooting that facility, and they wounded one officer by shooting him in the neck. Then we had the Dallas shooting, the sniper that shot into a shaded van, hoping to hit ICE agents, but hit our detainees. So, and I'm telling you,
they hit the detainees. They tried to hit ICE agents, and they hit the detainees. You know how bad of a shot you've got to be, but they were just blindly shooting into a really dark van, and they shot the detainees. That's crazy.
Play out before. It's not going to stop. There's going to be more bloodshed unless this hateful rhetoric stops.
Also, you know what I think? Just by shooting, I think, and this is an extreme take on this. Okay, this is a bit extreme, but this is how I view it. Those are technically Mexican citizens. Technically. With that being the case, because they have shot at United States law enforcement and civilians and have tried to kill them, maybe it's just me, but I think that's good grounds to go to war. I don't know what to tell you, no? Your citizens are attacking our citizens. We didn't do anything wrong. We told you stop doing something. You didn't stop it. We started to stop it, and then you started to try and kill us. I think that's grounds to go to war with Mexico. Now, let me make this clear. I have nothing against Mexican people at all. I love the food. I love the culture. I love the people. It's great. I've been around them my whole life. All right. They're fantastic people, and they always have a great sense of humor. All right. But when you act like an animal and you try to kill us and try to shoot us and try to do things, you know, not by our country's rules, you know, that they have set in place, then there are problems. Okay. That's just life. All right. But when you are shooting law enforcement and civilians and just continuously breaking the law and committing murders and crimes, yes, no. I 1,000% feel that at this point, I think it's time to go to war.
Look, when we hear all that you just ticked off, we realize that there is a staccato movement in all of this. Is there any kind of way to break the grip that the cartel has right now on orchestrating these hits? Is it coming from one particular group?
No, it's coming from a lot of groups. Like I've had, I got death threats from the cartels myself. But the bottom line is the cartels are hurting. President Trump created the most secure border in the history of this nation, which means less drugs, less of their poisons getting across. They're taking to the waters. We knew they'd take maritime once the border got shut down, the land border. They're taking the maritime. President Trump shutting that down with his attacks. So they're hurting, and they want to, you know, affect United States law enforcement so they can keep moving their drugs in. They want to fear law enforcement to fear them. But bottom line is the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol aren't going to fear them. So I think President Trump's doing the right thing. He's playing the away game. He's taking the cartels out of Mexico and Central America and Venezuela. So we're going to end up, like President Trump said, promised, he's going to annihilate these cartels, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So they can threaten all they want. It's not going to stop ICE from doing the job.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to stop Border Patrol doing the job. It's not going to stop me from doing my job. We're going to continue to make this America safe again, one day at a time. Every criminal threat we arrest makes our community safer, bottom line, and we're going to continue to do that.
Louisiana's Governor Jeff Landry is out with a new ad highlighting the state's new detention facility and warning criminal illegal aliens, the most violent of them, so-called Louisiana lockup, is based inside the country's largest maximum security prison. It houses more than 400 illegal alien detainees. Let's watch part of that ad.
I know you all in the media will attempt to have a field day with this facility to make those who broke the law in some of the most violent ways victims.
And I want to come back to you now and just give.
Actually, another thing about that No, I think we should put them to work. Clearly, rehabilitation isn't going to work, so they need to be incarcerated for life. Now, mind you, I am a subjugator and a subjugator. That's not the right word. I'm an advocate for not locking up humans. Okay, I hate that shit. But it also kind of makes me a hypocrite if I say to lock them up and make them work, which is hard for me because I'm on both sides of the fence. Okay. You do something wrong, you should be incarcerated and put to work. Especially if you do it over and over and over and over again and cannot be rehabilitated. If you cannot be rehabilitated, you're going to have a long, long stay in a lockup.
Get your reaction. We know we've got Alligator Alcatraz down in Florida, the Speedway Slammer in Indiana.
Consequences matter. You know, I just told you we have the most secure border in history of this nation because of President Trump's leadership and executive orders, because of men and women, the Border Patrol, what they're doing on that border, but also because of what ICE is doing in the interior and showing, like Governor did, we have consequences. You will be locked up. You will be deported. And we send that message across the whole world that we got over 1,000 ICE teams on the streets every day. People are giving their life savings to the criminal cartels to make that dangerous journey. So one of the reasons we have the most secure border in history of this nation is because we're showing there's consequences. And we got great relationships with several governors across the country. We're going to keep showing there are consequences for violating our laws. There are consequences for ignoring immigration judges' removal. And there are consequences for committing crimes against U.S. citizens, especially if you're here illegally.
Mm-hmm. You know, you've been hearing about some liberals. California is one of those states where they want to help out the people who are left behind as you take the violent criminals off the streets.
State.
What do the families of these threatened officers and ICE agents need?
They need protection, and they need to help the federal government protect not only the agents, but their spouses. Look, Harris, I've shared. I agree. I have not lived with my wife since late March because of death threats against me. And now there are reporters out there trying to find the location of my family. There are reporters trying to identify who my sons are. I mean, this has gone beyond the pale. It's insulting.
That's horrible.
And, you know, God bless the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol. Before I go to bed every night,
you know
I say a prayer for every person out there wearing that.
Dude, maybe it's just me, but you find out where I live and you find out shit about me, you best be ready to catch a bullet, because I'll send 100 your way. You mess with my family, you mess with me. I don't play around with that stuff. I don't mind. I've got magazines, grenades, I got it all. You want to play games and you want to light fires, I will light you up like the 4th of July, and I will sleep like a baby afterward.
A shield that they go home safe to their families, and every illegal alien we arrest goes home safe to their families. I don't want to see any.
Is it our own reporters that are doing this? If this is our own reporters doing this, this is absolutely foul. Just foul. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You guys should be doing time for trying to help them. You're aiding and abetting.
For the country, Tom Homan, thank you for being in focus.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, everyone.
Dude, that's crazy. That's so not okay. That's absolutely foul. Ladies and gentlemen, this seems like grounds to go to war with Mexico. I don't want to do that. I don't think that we should do that. But at this point, it's getting to a point where we don't have a whole lot of options. You either learn from your mistake or you don't. And I know Mexico's pretty corrupt. See, because if Mexico wanted it fixed, they would have already fixed it. But clearly the cartel's in the politician's pocket there as well. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Again, this is the Logic Vault. And we do it the logic way or with no logic at all. I'll see you guys in the next one.